Ever wonder why your financial goals seem so far out of reach? Well, it's time to uncover the truth.
Yes, we know and acknowledge that rising interest rates, inflation, even centuries of systemic racism even are to blame. They can be culprits in this financial story and journey of ours. However, in this video, we want to focus on the factors that are within our control. We're going to be sharing with you 5 truths when it comes to why you're not making progress with your finances and give you actionable solutions for solving these issues.
Hey wealth builders, and welcome back to another episode of The Bemused. My name is Mishak.
And I'm Akiva. I'm a certified financial planner and money coach for young professionals in their 20s and 30s. Now, we have helped several young professionals just like yourself implement the things that we're talking about in this video. Really focus on what's within our control to really make progress when it comes to our finances. And so hopefully you get a lot of value out of this video as well. So truth number 1 as to why you are not making progress with your finances, or it feels like you're not making progress with your finances, is because you really don't want to make progress with your finances. All right, hear me out. Like I said, we're sharing a little bit of truth bombs in this video. But this isn't to be judgmental. We all have a little element of this within ourselves, and we can see how that manifests not just in money, but in life in general. But certainly when it comes to money, you have to know and believe for yourself that you actually want change. A lot of us say we want change, but in reality, we are very much content and complacent with where we're at. Like, I know people who thrive in the chaos that is their life, right? Sometimes we all know someone like that, or maybe that person is you. That's okay too, right? But you have to actually take that step mindset-wise to actually be able to make progress. That's what takes you from knowing what you should be doing to actually doing the thing.
And that mindset will really transition us into the solution. So you're gonna have to really ask yourself some hard questions here. Do you deserve better? Do you deserve more? And if the answer to that is no, then you'd want to ask yourself, well, why do I feel that I don't deserve better, that I don't deserve more? And the next important question is, am I willing to do what it takes to make progress in whatever it is that I want to do? You really want to get comfortable with digging deep into your emotions, your psyche, everything, the being that is you, and uncover these answers before you can even move forward, with any of these steps. It's really important to have a grasp and have that mindset in the right place for you to be able to move forward. Because if your heart and your mind are not in it, more than likely you might find yourself kind of just spinning your wheels, and you don't want that.
The second reason why you might be struggling to make progress with your finances is that you haven't had the proper financial education. And now, of course, we know financial education isn't everything, but it is necessary in order for you to actually make progress with your finances. And sometimes a common trap that I see is that we feel like we know the things, right? We're trying to do the things, but we're moving in the completely wrong direction, right? So when you are trying to learn about money, learn new things about money, processes, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you are learning this information from the right sources, right? You want to make sure you are going to trusted, credible, competent sources to get your financial information and education. Always verify what you are hearing, even if it is from the most experienced and credentialed professional in the world. Make sure that you are verifying that information against other credible sources before you just go out there blindly and apply, the things that they're saying. You also want to understand the context of the person who is teaching or sharing the financial information, because that lens and that context might be entirely different and inappropriate for where you are in your phase of life right now. So again, just making sure that you have the proper holistic knowledge that is relevant to you, what you're trying to do in your stage of life, is really, really important and can be the key to unlocking progress for some people.
Yeah, and I think, again, credible sources, right? Even Akiva and I sharing information with you, always you trust, but you verify.
Always.
You want to make sure that, what we're saying is applicable to you and that it's factual in all cases, because things are changing in any sector quite rapidly, and finance is not immune or exempt from that. So while we might say something in a video 6 months ago, that could be completely outdated. So you want to do your research and make sure that the information is current, up to date, and that you also, again, have that understanding so that you know how to apply it. Where everyone is saying, oh, just go and get an LLC, for example. And you're like, oh, I need to go get one of those. But you don't know that an LLC is something that you might need if you're actually operating in business, not for someone who is just an employee, right? It doesn't mean that you can't have one, but at least you should know, well, that's why people get LLCs. It's a business thing. And if I'm not, doing business operating in that sector, then do I need one? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the lens that you should always be coming at it from, not just blindly taking whatever some Joe Blow on the internet says as the gospel.
Yeah, that's a good example. Another one I see too is like trust. Like, oh, I need a trust. For what? Like, and I say that and many people don't, but it's like, you don't really even fully understand like why this person's even talking about trust and the role they play in, and if you actually need one, right? So those are just like examples that we see all the time, where it's like, yes, you could be moving, but in the completely wrong direction, and therefore, you're making progress in the wrong place, so you're really not making progress.
And those things can be costly things that you're making, because they ain't free.
They're not.
To set up an LLC, to set up a trust. So it's like, again, great things, like, oh, I'm going to get this thing going, and then a year in, you're like, oh man, I gotta pay the fee again. I gotta do
it again.
It's like, whoo, that year came around real quick. It's like, but did you even need that?
All this work to be like, it wasn't even worth it. I'm back at square one. So that's what we're saying, That's what you need to know to be really making progress.
And I will also preface this by saying that nothing that you want is usually going to come like that. It's going to take work and it's going to take effort. So if anyone is trying to sell you something or trying to, oh, it's so easy, just do this and you're going to make the money and you're going to do this, usually if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
So really the solution here is to find a source of trusted money information, right? And ideally multiple sources, right? Again, we want to trust but verify. And everybody learns differently. And so where you get that information or the medium by which that information is shared is going to be different for every single person, right? Some of us learn better visually. Some people learn better, audibly. So whether it is watching YouTube videos like this, or listening to podcasts, or joining somebody's course, like whatever that step is for you, just do the thing that you feel like you need to do so that you can learn the right information to actually progress you in the right direction.
The third truth is lack of accountability. And I think we all know what this one is that, Akiva's saying that, hey, I'm going to this year or this month, I'm going to exercise more, or I'm going to save more, whatever that is. But you're just saying these things out in the open and no one's really holding you accountable. 6 months have gone by, 6 weeks have gone by, and you haven't done one exercise and you haven't put $1 aside. You need someone that's going to say, hey, with love, hey, Mishak, you said that this year you wanted to save a little bit more. Have you done anything to start, working towards that goal? Where, again, it's not to make you feel any shame for not starting or make you feel like, oh, you should be at this spot and you're here. It's more of just okay, you're right, I did say that, and it's reframing your mind to, all right, I did say that in January and it's now September. I need to think about this. What can I do by December to accomplish this goal, or at least to get started? Even if I just opened the savings account or opened another checking account, if that's what you're doing, that's a step in the right direction. That's progress, and now I put in the $1 into the account. Maybe that's my goal by the end of the year. That's fine. That's something to work off of. So if next year you decide that, okay, I'm going to put $200 in by the end of the year. Now you have actionable things and things that are also attainable. It's like, all right, how am I going to get to that $200 by December 2024?
Yeah, because sometimes it's not about even, going back to the first thing we said, it's not even that your heart isn't in it or that your mindset isn't right. Sometimes your mindset can be right. You know what to do. You've gone through the mental roadblocks that are keeping you from doing it. But sometimes you really just need somebody to hold your feet to the fire so that you can get it done, right? Because life happens, right? Yeah. Life gets busy. Sometimes things happen. We lose sight of some of those goals that we have sometimes. And so that accountability can also make the difference between staying where you are and moving forward. So the solution here really is to find that accountability, right? In whatever form that works for you, whether it's having a trusted friend, friend or family member, hiring a financial coach, or, whatever the step needs to be for you, joining somebody's membership where you have other people who are keeping you accountable. Always like to say our accountability for ourselves is very much public. It's you all who are seeing, the behind the scenes of our balance sheets and the details. So whenever y'all see something that's off, y'all definitely don't hesitate to let us know in them comments, right? So whatever that accountability needs to be for you, just make sure you have a good source of accountability for yourself.
And the fourth truth is lifestyle inflation. Now there's inflation, like we're all seeing right now, and then there's lifestyle inflation, where meaning that, okay, now you are making a little bit more money in some people's, cases, and now that means I should spend a little bit more. Now that $1,500 apartment don't cut it. Now I'm making six figures, now I need a $2,000 a month apartment or a $2,500 apartment because it's closer to work or because it's closer to the subway if you live in New York. Don't let little or aspects of your life that maybe have improved mean that now your spending should also rise to meet that improvement. You always want to have breathing room, right? You make a little bit more. Now you have some money where you can make decisions. Do I want to save it? Do I want to spend it? That's fine if that's what you choose. But you should always, be conscious about those decisions, not just going off of like, oh, I feel like I have more, so I can, get Starbucks twice a day now. Or I can, get Ubers twice a day now because I got all the money in the world. You want to not let your lifestyle creep get the best of you.
Yeah, because the truth is, really, when it comes to lifestyle inflation, is that you can't make progress if you don't have any buffer in your budget, right? You will always feel stuck because whenever you try to say, oh, well, maybe I should invest a little bit more. Where's the money coming from in all of this spending to invest? Or, I should really do that thing. Again, where's the money coming from with all of your new high expenses, right? And oftentimes the things that we inflate are things that are not often things we can easily turn off, right?
Yeah.
These are semi-permanent or long-term decisions, right? That we, need to be mindful of. And so one very big key to making progress is actually having that breathing room in your spending to be able to adapt, to shift, to make progress on different fronts when it comes to your finances.
And to take that lifestyle creep thing really seriously, because I would also say that we usually get attached to those things that we have now increased. Again,
it's hard to go back.
It's really hard
to go back.
Like before, you were surviving on $200 a month as your budget for just going out having fun, and now you got to raise, and now I have $300. And maybe, you've done some reassessing and say, hey, maybe I should really put some money towards savings now. That $100 should really go to that. Now you're struggling because you're like, oh my gosh, like, can I go back to $200? How did I ever live a life only spending $200? Where it's like, it wasn't that long ago that that's what you were spending and you were making do. But now because you are so accustomed to spending it, you feel like you're, punishing yourself and you start going down this rabbit hole of, oh, well, I work hard. You're trying to rationalize the creep that you have just created. And then like Akiva said, now it's like, you're at square one again, where I have no money to do the thing that I said I wanted to do. And you're just like, well, I give up. I can't do it. I'm just here and this is where I'm going to live. And that's not so. You just have to be very intentional and careful not to allow lifestyle creep to creep into your life.
Yes. And it happens to the best of us, right? And we're not saying that anytime you get more money that, it must always go to its highest and best use. Like, no, you can spend a little bit. Yes, you do deserve it, right? But don't spend to a point where it's always going like that. And there's never any buffer, right? Because I do it too. Like, I recently started doing my nails religiously. That was not something I was doing for a very long time. It's been a recent development. It's something that's now like in the budget that wasn't there before. You know what I'm saying? But we have to choose. We can't do everything all at once, or even the big things. At least my nails is something that I could turn on and turn off. If I don't want to do my nails this month, or it's looking like a little rough month, or I might want this money to do something else, I could just not do my nails, right? But those are just some examples of ways that you can still enjoy life, still enjoy the money that we're making. You don't want to feel like you're just making money to pay rent and sleep, right? But at the same time, you want to make sure that we're making strategic decisions and giving ourselves that breathing room and that leverage when we need it. So the solution here really is to take a hard look at your spending. Take a hard look at that spending plan, right? Face those numbers. Let's face the music. simple process, not always an easy process mentally, but very crucial to making sure that you're able to make progress in a tangible way, right? Go through your spending, do a little bit of a prioritization exercise. What do you really value? What really brings you joy that you spend money on, right? Prioritize those things. And those things, if you find things within your spending that's like, you know what? All things considered, like, this can go, right? Or if it ever came to it, this can go, right? It's starting to get comfortable with those kinds of decisions so that when you are put into a position where you either want to make a different decision or need to make a different decision with your cash flow, you're able to do so in the blink of an eye, and it's not this super stressful, overwhelming situation. So that is a really clutch thing, and something that I also work with clients in our group coaching program to do very, very intentionally, right? So it makes that turn on, turn off decision very, very easy.
And if you are in a situation where you're saying everything is a priority, I can tell you right now that that is when you're going to be in a position where you have to make tough decisions, right? Because everything can't be a priority. You know, again, to me, you know, my opinion, the things that are priority are the food in your stomach, the shelter over your head, and maybe utilities, right?
Yeah, to a degree, because food can get real out of hand real quick.
And
also the expensive apartment, there's degrees.
Yeah, I've seen people spend $500-$600 on groceries. So I agree with that. But again, like, I would let you have that, right? Because you do have to eat, and if you're like, hey, I want to eat healthy, like, that does come at a cost. So I would give people that. But, you know, Ubers, I have to take Ubers because I have to do that. It's like, do you have to?
And nobody really can tell you what exactly is necessary for you, right?
Yeah.
These are just examples.
Yeah,
for some
they're
people,
just examples.
It might be. Because the New York City subway system ain't what it used to be. So I understand, you know, safety aspect. Like, there's really good reasons why you might rationalize one thing over another.
But, like, again, sticking to that example, right? How you maybe might be able to rationalize it is, okay, I'm not cutting Ubers out. I'm just saying that I need to be very specific on when an Uber is my option. If I am coming back from something it's late, it's 1 a.m, it's whatever, am I going to hop on the train or am I going to take an Uber? I would probably say, you know, if you're alone, you're whatever, yeah, take the Uber. But if it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it's a, you know, relatively busy day, like, do you need to? Again, like, you have to, like, again, I can't tell anyone how to make these decisions, and I won't. But these are just examples on how you can get down to it, where it's like, all right, this is how I can shave some of that off, because I've set parameters for myself as to when I'm going to actually tap into it. And it might not seem like you're making progress in the beginning, but if you were spending $300 a month on Ubers and with, you know, putting these new tactics into place and strategies, you're now spending $250. That's $50 that you can now do something with. So don't take the small amount and, oh, that's nothing, I should just keep doing the Ubers because what's $50? $50 at the end of the year, you know, if you're doing that every month, that's a nice piece of change. That's a couple $100 where that is meaningful. So don't think that anything too small is not worth adjusting.
Anything small isn't progress. Yeah. And truth number 5, why you might not be making progress with your finances is because impulse shopping, impulse spending, whatever you want to call this, buying anything on impulse, right? In this microwave era, right, we are just so used to getting things quickly, getting things fast. We are constantly bombarded by ads everywhere you look, from Facebook ads to TikTok shop. Somebody's always trying to sell you something, right? And they make it very easy for you to just tap 2 buttons and the package shows up on your doorstep, sometimes with same-day shipping, right? Like, this is the world that we live in, right? And so it's not just us, right? It's also a degree of, like, people become a lot snazzier, right? More effective in getting in front of us and getting our attention, getting our eyeballs, and getting us to buy things very, very quickly and easily. And that has become a trap that we have, you know, fallen into the more fancy and evolved the internet becomes, right? But it's something we definitely want to be mindful of, right? Is not just buying things on impulse, because that can really be something that pushes us backward in our progress trajectory.
And the solution to this, I think, is a somewhat simple one, at least for me. It might not be that easy for you, but sleep on it, right? There's nothing better than saying, you know what, let me just put that down. Let me close the laptop. Let me turn off the phone and let me think about it. And all right, it's been 12 hours. I'm okay. You know, I didn't die without that thing that I saw on TikTok or about the thing that I saw on Amazon or wherever you might have seen it. And then it's time to like, all right, can I buy this today? If I make this purchase, that's when it goes into decision mode. When I make this purchase today of $50, of $100, am I sacrificing anything else? Am I sacrificing food? Am I sacrificing a utility bill, my rent, my mortgage, my child's, whatever? Am I sacrificing anything? If the answer is no to that, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right decision either, Don't get caught in the, oh, well, I'm not, this, I'm not whatever. Just because you want it doesn't mean that you need it all the time either. Again, I can't make that decision for you, but I would say good practice that I think is to honestly wait on it for 30 days. If you can live without it for 30 days, you can probably live without it, moving forward. But if after 30 days or 28 days, your mind is still on that thing, hey, that gadget is going to be useful, then by all means, maybe make the purchase, but also think about it. Okay, if I've gone without it for 30 days so far and it costs $100 and I have 50 right now, as opposed to putting 50 on a credit card and paying cash with 50, maybe what I can do is come up with a plan to get the cash for the remaining 50 so that I'm not going into debt for it. And that's only if you were in that situation. Not everyone is in that, but just as an example.
So those are our 5 brutally honest truths about why you may not be making progress with your finances, especially as a young adult, a young professional. But we want to hear from you. Share in the comment which one of those 5 truth bombs you resonate with the most, that you relate to the most. Maybe there's going to be some self-deprecating comments today. We will throw one in there for ourselves too. Like I said, we all have fallen victim to one of these at some point, more than likely. And so let's share together. Let's get the conversation going. I will also have a link down below to our webinar. If this video resonated with you and some of the truths that are being shared and you want to learn more about our money philosophy and go deeper into some of the things that we think might be holding you back from financial success and showing you the path that we've taken, that we teach to our clients and students, that is going to be the place for you. This webinar is called Wealth Unlocked: From Stumbling to Soaring in Your 20s and 30s Without a Six-Figure Salary, which is basically what we did. I know it's a super long title, but that's the title because that's what it is. So if you're interested, the link will be down there, and hope you enjoy it.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss when we post content just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!